Good morning, class. In the last class, we had completed Beehive's first chapter, which is The Fun They Had, written by Isaac Asimov. Here we came across the differences between a mechanical teacher and a human teacher. We saw that how Margie hated school because she was taught by a mechanical teacher who was always present there in the classroom, which was next to her bedroom. She studied alone without any classmates, had to submit the homework every day in the homework slot and appear for geography test again and again. And later on, when she found a book, actually Tommy found the book and she was reading it, she found that book very interesting and always thought about how a human teacher taught in a class and how the students, that means the students and schools of today, how they enjoyed being taught in a classroom. Now we are going to start the poem of Unit 1, which is The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Students, let me tell you something about Robert Frost. He is a renowned poet. He is somebody who writes poems in a very simple language, which is easy to understand, and he always takes inspiration from real life experiences. He writes about the nature, about real life experiences in his poems, and they are easily understood by the students or anybody who's reading his work. Now, The Road Not Taken. Now, this poet, I'll tell you why he wrote this particular poem. Let's move to page number 15. Alright. So now, The Road Not Taken, here the poet is actually talking about one of his experience. Now, at this time when he wrote this poem, years have passed. The poet has moved forward in his life, and he talks about how he was faced by two choices in his life, and which choice did he make, and what was his experience while making that choice. Now, in our life, we come across these points a lot of times, going from simple to complex. Let's take up some simple choice. Suppose you go to the market and the shopkeeper shows you 5 good dresses that he has. Now, out of those 5, it's easy to select the one you like. And generally it happens you like 2 out of those 5. Now, it was easy to say to the shopkeeper, no bhaiya, this one I don't like. Yes, you keep this aside. Yes, you keep this aside. So when you have to make a choice between those 2 dresses which you have asked the shopkeeper to keep aside, it becomes difficult. You ask your mother, you ask your friend, which one do you think would suit me the best? So when it comes to choosing between 2 things, it becomes difficult. We come in doubt, we come in dilemma that which one would be a good option for us. What would be the result of the choice that we make out of the 2? Coming to the complex choices after 10th, when you have to choose your stream, humanities or non-medical, medical, commerce, vocational, whatever choices you have, you think about the result first. That what do I have to become in life? What all options I'll have, what all opportunities I have when I'll choose one particular stream. So this is what the poet talks about. He has used road as a symbol. This road depicts various number of choices. He has depicted those choices with the word road. Now, let's read it. The well-known poem is about making choices and the choices that shape us. Whatever we choose for ourselves frames our future, shapes our future. Our future depends upon the choice we make today. Robert Frost is an American poet who writes simply but insightfully. He writes in simple language, but they are deep. They illuminate your insight, your inner conscience about common ordinary experiences. And he writes about the common experiences. Let's start reading it. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. The poet says, I am standing in that situation of my life where there are two roads, and roads means choices. Two roads which are diverging in the yellow woods. Wood is forest, and yellow here means autumn season when the leaves are turning yellow. So he says, I'm standing at a place where there are two roads moving in different directions. Diverged means to move in different directions. Like this. One road is going here, one road is going here. And sorry I could not travel both. He says it's impossible to travel on both the roads. I have to choose one. And be one traveler, long I stood and looked down as far as I could. And he says that when I was standing there, I was a traveler and I stood there for a long time. Why I stood there for a long time? Because I looked down towards the road as far as I could. So he said when I had those two choices, I looked towards the first choice to a very long distance. He was standing at the road, he looked at one road, that where would it lead? What would be the result of taking this road? So he looked as far as he could to where it bent in the undergrowth. But this road, he looked from here, but this road bent in the undergrowth. Somewhere it bent, so he could not see what was the result. And he was standing here and looking towards the road. Then took the other just as fair, and then he looked towards the other road. See, he says, just to be fair, I did not just consider the consequences or result of the first road. To be fair, to be just, I looked towards the other road also, and having perhaps the better claim. And he says maybe this road would give me a better claim, that yes, this road is best, it would claim to be a good choice. He says, so he looked towards the other also. Because it was grassy and wanted wear, and the road was grassy, that means not many people have taken that road. That is why it was grassy, where we walk and we run, which the road that is used frequently becomes a little worn out, damaged. But he says this road was grassy and wanted where it wanted people to travel on it. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. And he says that it has been a less traveled road. Not many people have traveled on that road. That means not many people have chosen that choice. That is why there was grass, a good green grass on that road. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. So he says that in front of me in the morning there were both the roads. In that particular morning, both the roads were lying in front of me. Leaves no step had trodden black. Now on one road there nobody has trodden. Trodden means to walk. And in the other road the leaves have become black because many people have walked on it. Oh, I kept the first for another day. So he said the first road where many people have traveled, the leaves have become black. I kept this for another day. That means sometime else I will walk on this road. Maybe after some time I will choose this particular choice. So he kept it. He kept the first one which has been walked by many people and the leaves on that road has become black. He has kept it for some other time. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. But he says, I had a doubt. I'm keeping this first road which has been traveled by a lot of people for some other day, but I am doubtful if ever I will be able to come back from the choice that I make. Many a times you are told choose this or this and there is no looking back. Same way the poet thought that maybe I would never return back from the choice that I am making today. I shall be telling this with a sigh. I hope everybody remembers what is sigh is. Disappointment, a sigh of grief. So he says, I shall be telling this with a sigh, with disappointment, with a little sadness. Somewhere ages and ages has, and he says, when I've made the choice and if it turns out to be wrong, I will tell this story about my choice with sadness. Some ages and ages after, two roads diverged in a wood and I took the less traveled by. And he says, if my decision goes wrong, I will tell this story after some years that yes, there were two roads. I took the road which was less traveled by, which was grassy and which wanted wear, has not traveled by a lot of people, and that has all made the difference. So one choice can make a huge difference in your life. That means you have to be wise enough to choose the best for you, the one that is good for you. This is what the poet has explained. So now I hope everybody has understood. For any doubts, you join the doubt session.